In this lecture, we will learn about microwave frequencies. Before we start discussing about microwave topics, let us understand what is a microwave. As we know, micro refers to small and wave refers to wavelength. But what does this mean? We know that frequency is inversely proportional to wavelength. So this means when we are talking about microwave, we are referring to high frequencies since the wavelength is small. Now just saying wavelength is small is not sufficient. So now we have to give a number, basically define what these frequencies are when we refer to microwave frequencies where the wavelength is really small. There are multiple ways to group and define the microwave frequencies, and we will look at two major ways to do it. First, let us consider the IEEE definition. IEEE, which is an organization from 1880s, is dedicated to advancing technology in the field of electrical, electronics, communication, and computing areas. So it stands for the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers. So naturally, if you are considering 18th century, the major communication system during those times was radar. So IEEE definitions of frequencies are World War based definitions and were defined for radar systems both used in civilian and military applications. Next, let us consider the FCC definition. FCC stands for Federal Communications Commission. This is an agency of US government which regulates communication for all systems in United States of America. Like it could be TV, radio, satellite, mobile phones, radars, and so on. In modern communication systems like mobile phones, FCC definition is more relevant. In the next slide, we will look at both these definitions. This table shows the IEEE definition of microwave frequencies. We can see that the frequency range from 3 MHz to 300 GHz is defined. Note that clearly as the frequency increases, the wavelength decreases. Look at the last row. It is called as wave or millimeter wave. This is because the wavelength is easy to represent in millimeters instead of fractional values in centimeter. So here all the values are represented in centimeter. Now if you go to this last row, instead of saying 0.75 centimeter or zero point 0.1 centimeter, it is much cleaner to say 7.5 millimeters or 1 millimeter instead of these fractional values. Thus, the wavelengths here are given in millimeters. This image is from FCC document. On the bottom, what you see written is the radio spectrum, which means it covers all the frequencies used for radio communication or any communication involving radio transmitter and radio receiver. Now, if you see on the right side, there is a frequency range defined from 100 MHz to 300 GHz. This is the microwave frequency range. And it can be grouped or called as VHF, UHF, SHF, and EHF, which stands for very high frequency, ultra high frequency, super high frequency, and extremely high frequency ranges. It can also be grouped as letter definitions as P band, L band, S band, C band, X band, and so on, which are commonly used in radar communication. Mobile communication also falls within the same range of 700 megahertz to 6 gigahertz range.